Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to study about the incentives involved with the blockchain. So before we just go into the deck, I just want you to imagine a world where millions of strangers across the globe are collaborating. And what is the point? They're not collaborating because they're forced to, but because they are motivated to, right? So in this slide, we're going to see how are they motivated to, how are we paying them off, right? So we're going to go beyond the buzzwords, beyond the blockchain's basics, but now we're going to go into the incentive mechanism to, explore how carefully designed rewards, carefully designed penalties, they're going to power our decentralized systems, making trustless networks not just possible, but unstoppable. So let's just start with it. Assumption of honesty is actually problematic. So, can we actually give nodes some incentives for behaving honestly because the system here is decentralized? We don't have a principal managing a school. So, everybody is responsible for their actions. So, if they're behaving honestly, let us just give them some incentives to behave honestly, to just keep going forward with that. So we know we have double spending attacks where the attacker, what he does is, or whatever the malicious person we have in a network, what they do is they use the same coins to make two transactions. So let's say Alice makes two transactions, one to Bob, one to Charlie. Now, which one are you going to consider valid? We have already seen this in previous videos. So we're going to consider the transaction valid that has a longer consensus chain built upon it. So in this case, the one in which the coins are going to A dash, can we penalize the node that created this block because this block is actually wrong, right? And also at the same time, can we reward the node that created the block with sending the coins from Alice to Bob? So let's just see. So at the heart of every blockchain, lies a very simple yet a powerful question. Why would anyone spend massive amounts of the computing power, massive amounts of, let's say, electricity to secure the network? Right? Why would I even care for it? The answer is I get incentives for doing so. So when a miner or your validator, they successfully create a new block, they don't just get bragging rights, right? They get some amount of bitcoins, right? So they get to include a very special transaction in that block, the coin-based transaction. Please remember the words, the coin-based transaction. Now, what is this coin-based transaction? In this transaction, we make a record of the brand new coins that are generated from and that are actually sent to an address of their choosing. So right now the rewards stand at what? 3.125 BTC. So what happens every 4 years it gets halved. So when it originated in 2009 the value was 50 BTC per block. And right now it has reduced to 3.125. Every 4 years it gets reduced. Right? Okay. So when we are, when we are in this era where this is getting reduced, at a moment around 2040, there would be a time when we would have no blockchains left to, when we would have, sorry, no Bitcoin left to get into the chain, right? So when would be done then? Then we will have to come to our incentive too, right? So, incentives we have to learn aren't just about the money or anything, they are the glue because we have our entire blockchain decentralized. So, incentives aren't just about money, but they're the glue that are holding your decentralized system in the trustless network as trustworthy. Do you get that? So the block creator, they will get this money, but they will not get this money by just proposing out the block. They get this money after their block gets built up, and up. Because if the consensus chain is the longest and their block has been validated to be true, then only they get their payment. Then only they get their BTCs. I hope you get that, right? And with next, so we know there's a finite supply of bitcoins to 21 million. And we're not going to increase it above that. It's a hard cap. We're not going to increase it if the rules that exist for blockchain Bitcoin right now, they don't get altered, right? So the new Bitcoins, they enter the circulation through our block rewards. We know that. The same reward is what the miners get for securing the network. But the twist is what the reward it's getting halved, and that is called your halving rule after every 4 years, right? So maybe that is why that this growth of Bitcoin supply, it actually slows down exponentially over time. If you take a look at the graph, you'll notice sharp jumps in the early years, right? Followed by a gradual flattening. The first big halving cut the reward from 50 BTC to your 25 BTCs, and then it keeps on reducing. And right now we are at 3.125 BTCs. So at this rate, what will happen is your all the Bitcoins will be mined up by 2040. And after that, what is going to happen? After that, what are you going to give to your validators? Will the miners suddenly lose all their incentives to secure the network? No, we're not going to have it. And for this reason, we have what? We have your second incentive coming up, the transaction fees. Right now, it's just optional that if your source person wants to give you some transaction, wants to give you a cut out of the money they're spending, just give you that. But after some time, it is going to just become a part of your blockchain system. Because incentives, they don't just vanish, they're going to evolve. Right now, what we have? Bitcoins. Right now, what we have? Bitcoins. What will then we have? We will then have our transaction fees. Make sense? So let's just study about transaction fees a little. So incentive two comes to be transaction fees. So far we've seen, right, how your block rewards, they motivate your miners and get them into the network to check on your transactions. But what will happen when these rewards will eventually shrink to zero? Then will come our transaction fees, right? So whenever you're sending a Bitcoin transaction, you're not just specifying how much BTCs the receiver should get, you're also choosing whether to leave a little cut for the block creator, right? So let's say your transaction inputs might total to around, say, zero point 0.5 BTC, but your outputs only add up to 0.49 BTC. Then where does that 0.01 BTC goes? It becomes the transaction fees going straight into the pocket of the block creator. So right now, I believe this is purely voluntary. Like it is like just like leaving a tip. I got a good coffee, I'm going to leave a tip, right? But as the block rewards are going to continue decrease, the transaction fees is going to be a mandate, right? Then next, so what is there? We have a leveled up cut. At first, we had our block, we had the blocks, right? That were motivating the people, the validators, the miners to come into the network and block and have a check on the blockchain. But as this cut is decreasing, as your block reward is decreasing, your transaction fees is going to take a turn, so that it is max the total mining incentive, it stays stabilized. I hope you got your incentive mechanism, but if you still have any doubts, please make sure you know that you're using up the comment section for it, you're using your GForms link attached for it. And yes, if you want any re-clarification videos, just let me know for that as well. I hope this is going to help you. And if it does, please do not forget to like, subscribe the channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.